A new era dawns. Introducing John F. Kennedy and Camelot. John F. Kennedy's presidency was brief. It was also brilliant. It began in 1961. It ended with his assassination in 1963. Despite its short duration, Kennedy's time in office was transformative. It became known as the Camelot era. This term evokes a sense of hope, idealism, and romance. It reflects the youthful energy and charisma of Kennedy and his wife, Jacqueline. The Camelot metaphor captured the imagination of the nation. It painted a picture of a young, vibrant president. He was leading America toward a brighter future. His administration attracted the best and brightest minds. They tackled complex challenges with vigor and determination. The era was not without its flaws and challenges. However, it left an indelible mark on American history. The Camelot years were marked by both triumph and tragedy. Kennedy's presidency embodied the complexities of leadership. He faced international crises and domestic unrest. Through it all, he maintained his commitment to progress and equality. His legacy continues to inspire generations to strive for a better tomorrow. Kennedy's path to the presidency. His journey was marked by determination and ambition. Born into a wealthy family, he faced challenges. He battled health issues, overcame prejudice against his Catholic faith. These experiences shaped his character. His political career began in the House. In 1960, he launched his bid for the presidency. He narrowly defeated Nixon. At 43, he became the youngest elected president. A nation awakened, the spirit of the new frontier. Kennedy's inauguration ushered in an era of optimism and hope. He challenged Americans to ask, not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. These words resonated deeply with the American people. Kennedy's vision for America was encapsulated in his concept of the new frontier. He called for investment in education, science, and technology. Kennedy inspired Americans to believe in their ability to shape a better future. Crisis on the world stage, facing down the Cuban Missile Threat. The Cold War cast a long shadow over Kennedy's presidency. The ideological conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union dominated the international stage. It created a constant threat of nuclear war. Kennedy recognized the gravity of this threat. He was determined to prevent it from escalating into a global catastrophe. One of the most perilous moments of Kennedy's presidency came in October 1962. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. The Soviet Union had secretly installed nuclear missiles in Cuba. These missiles were capable of striking targets across the United States. The discovery of these missiles sparked a tense standoff between the two superpowers. Kennedy refused to back down. He ordered a naval blockade of Cuba. He demanded the removal of the Soviet missiles. For 13 days, the world held its breath. The threat of nuclear war loomed large. Through diplomacy and careful negotiation, Kennedy and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev found a way out of the crisis. The Soviet Union agreed to remove the missiles from Cuba. The United States, in turn, pledged not to invade Cuba. Kennedy and the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement gained momentum during Kennedy's presidency. African Americans demanded an end to segregation and discrimination. They faced fierce resistance from white supremacists. Kennedy recognized the moral imperative of civil rights. The brutal attacks in Birmingham shocked the nation. In June 1963, Kennedy delivered a powerful address on civil rights. He called for a comprehensive civil rights bill. It was left to his successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, to pass the bill. Section 6. A Leader's Resolve, the Style and Substance of JFK's Presidency. John F. Kennedy possessed a unique leadership style that captivated the nation and the world. He exuded an aura of confidence, intelligence, and charisma. He was a gifted communicator. He connected with audiences on an emotional level. His speeches were eloquent. They inspired hope and challenged Americans to strive for greatness. Kennedy understood the power of symbolism. He surrounded himself with artists, intellectuals, and cultural icons. This enhanced the image of his administration as a beacon of sophistication and progress. He and Jacqueline brought a youthful elegance to the White House. They hosted dinners featuring renowned musicians, writers, and thinkers. Beyond his personal charm, Kennedy was a shrewd politician and a pragmatic leader. He understood the art of compromise. He was willing to work with his opponents to achieve his goals. He recognized the importance of building consensus. He was not afraid to stand up for his beliefs. He challenged the status quo. He pushed for progressive reforms. Section 7. Tragedy in Dallas. The assassination that shocked the world. On November 22, 1963, the world watched in horror as John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. He was riding in an open motorcade with his wife Jacqueline when shots rang out. Kennedy was fatally wounded. He died later that day at Parkland Memorial Hospital. The nation and the world were plunged into mourning. The assassination of John F. Kennedy was a national tragedy. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life. It was a blow to the optimism and hope that had characterized his presidency. The events of that day are etched into the collective memory of Americans. They continue to be a source of fascination and debate. The assassination of John F. Kennedy remains one of the most shocking and consequential events in American history. It cut short the life of a promising young leader. It left a void in American politics that would be difficult to fill. The events of November 22, 1963 continue to resonate today. They serve as a reminder of the importance of leadership, the fragility of peace, and the enduring power of hope. Section 8. The End of Camelot, Mourning a Fallen President. The assassination of John F. Kennedy sent shockwaves across the globe. The nation mourned the loss of a beloved leader. The world grieved the death of an icon of hope and inspiration. Millions of people lined the streets of Washington, D.C. to pay their respects as Kennedy's funeral procession made its way to Arlington National Cemetery. Television brought the tragedy into homes across America. People watched in disbelief as Walter Cronkite, his voice choked with emotion, announced the president's death. The images of Jacqueline Kennedy, her blood-stained pink suit, a stark reminder of the violence that had transpired, became seared into the nation's consciousness. The assassination of John F. Kennedy marked the end of an era. The optimism and idealism of Camelot seemed to vanish overnight. The nation was left to grapple with the unthinkable. A young, vibrant leader had been struck down in his prime. The world mourned the loss of a visionary. He had dared to dream of a brighter future. Section 9. A Legacy Remembered, Kennedy's Enduring Impact on America. Despite his brief time in office, John F. Kennedy left an indelible mark on American history. His legacy is complex and multifaceted. It continues to be debated and discussed today. However, there is no doubt that he was a transformative figure. He challenged Americans to think differently about their country and their place in the world. Kennedy's greatest legacy is perhaps the inspiration he provided to generations of Americans. His call to service, embodied in his famous words, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country," resonated deeply with people from all walks of life. Kennedy's presidency also left a lasting impact on American politics and society. His administration laid the groundwork for many of the social and economic reforms of the 1960s. These included the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. His emphasis on space exploration spurred scientific innovation and technological advancement. Section 10. The Ripple Effect, JFK's Influence on Future Leaders. John F. Kennedy's presidency, though tragically cut short, had a profound impact on future generations of leaders. His charisma, intelligence, and commitment to public service inspired countless individuals to enter public life. His legacy continues to shape the political landscape today. Kennedy's emphasis on education, science, and technology influenced a generation of leaders who sought to advance American progress in these fields. His commitment to civil rights paved the way for greater equality and opportunity for all Americans. His handling of the Cuban Missile Crisis provided a model for cool-headed leadership in times of crisis. Kennedy's legacy is not without its critics. Some argue that he did not do enough to advance civil rights. Others question his handling of foreign policy. However, even his detractors acknowledge his charisma and his ability to inspire. His presidency remains a touchstone for those who seek to make a difference in the world. Section 11. Camelot's Enduring Allure, Reflecting on a Time of Hope and Promise. The Camelot era, though fleeting, continues to hold a powerful allure. It represents a time of hope, idealism, and optimism in American history. John F. Kennedy's presidency, with its youthful energy, its commitment to progress, and its tragic end, has become a symbol of both the promise and the fragility of American democracy. The Camelot myth, while romanticized, reflects a genuine yearning for leadership that inspires and uplifts. Kennedy's ability to connect with people on an emotional level, his eloquence, and his vision for a better future continue to resonate today. The Camelot era may be over, but its lessons remain relevant. It reminds us of the importance of leadership, the power of hope, and the need to strive for a better tomorrow. It challenges us to embrace the ideals of service, courage, and compassion. It reminds us that even in the face of tragedy, the human spirit can endure.